Erev Shabbat Shalom to you all, and a warm welcome to our United Synagogue Kabbalat Shabbat. My name is Rav Cobi, Ebrahimoff, Tribe Rabbi, and I'm absolutely delighted to be with you here today, broadcasting from Israel, Kfar Mas. Now, just before we start Kabbalat Shabbat, I want to share a little bit of the extraordinary story of the place I'm in and bringing in Shabbat. Shabbat will start in just half an hour's time here in Kfar Mas. I'm delighted to be broadcasting from this very special place, which has a very special story. Petach Tikva, which is just outside Kfar Mas, was the first Jewish establishment or modern Jewish establishment prior to the establishment of the State of Israel. Traditionally, Jews were living in Tzfat, Tveria, in Jerusalem and Hebron, and beyond those four ancient cities, it was very difficult and very challenging to start life elsewhere. Well, Petach Tikva had already existed in 1934 for about 50 years, and a group of brave people called Kvutzat HaYovel, the group called Yovel, which means the 50-year anniversary of Petach Tikva, decided that more needs to be done and another yeshuv or another village should be established in the area. Now, this wonderful group of people then called themselves Kvutzat Hadraga, which you'll soon understand the meaning of. Hadraga is all about taking the challenge one step at a time, and they needed this as they were establishing Kfar Mas, decided to then move on out of Petach Tikva and establish this new village. Hadraga is about taking it one step at a time. And the reason I said they needed this, and the reason I said you'll understand the true meaning of it, because it was full of swamps. There was nowhere to live, nowhere to even step foot in without having to drown in the swamps. And they started working hard. The first thing they needed to do was to purchase the land. They tried to establish who the land belonged to. And it belonged to the farmers of Petach Tikva and a few other farmers which were supported by the KKL, the Keren Kayemet L'Israel. They approached them and said, can we have this area to open a new yeshuv, a new established village in Eretz Yisrael? And they said, if there's anything you can do with this land, take it free of charge. We don't want any money. We don't want anything from you. There is nothing that you could possibly do with this area. It is absolutely impossible to live there. It is absolutely impossible to do any agriculture. It's full of swamps. You stand no chance. If you want it, you can have it free of charge. Well, 88 years later, 2022, try buy a piece of land in Kfar Mas. Absolutely impossible. The land here alone, without even having any property on it, is worth millions. So these brave chalutzim took on Hadraga and started working here in Kfar Mas. They persevered and they established a beautiful yeshuv of Kfar Mas. 188 people started living here. As a matter of fact, Natan, just trying to recall the name, Natan Yonatan was a famous author. He wrote Ha'ish Hahu and wrote Hachol Iskor. Many of the songs that we sing on Yom HaZikaron made Aliyah from Ukraine and settled here as he was writing his songs and his books. Natan Yonatan settles here and was established by this beautiful place. They then changed the name to Kfar Mas, which means doing. We are doers. Jewish people are doers. Like many other places in Israel, right at the center of the village of Kfar Mas, you will find a memorial. And I'd like to just take you round to see some very special things in this memorial in the central square of Kfar Mas. I'm disturbed here by children playing, which is absolutely wonderful, which is a dream come true. And as you can see, the flies, which is another matter. So here we have a tank, but this isn't just any tank. You'll see here, and I'll translate the Hebrew, Bemutam tivulanu et hachaim, which means with their death they left us with life. And this tank was a special tank used by one of the residents of Kfar Mas, who unfortunately was killed in the Six-Day War of 1967. His name was Eitan Mintz, and the tank which he was riding in, just over here, was brought to Kfar Mas to commemorate his memory and bravery, because he with his perseverance and his bravery, managed to save everyone else riding in this tank in 1967 by leaving the tank and defending it. Here you will also see a long list, unfortunately, of other soldiers who gave their lives from Kfar Mas. And beautifully here, this is not a verse, a pasuk, but a very famous saying in Hebrew, and I'll translate it again. Ba'even charotim hashemot, the names are engraved in stone, ba'levavot hateilah, but the memories are engraved in our hearts. Now, the last thing I want to show you, which is absolutely extraordinary, is to do with before the establishment of the State of Israel, long before the Six-Day War in 1967, and it is Yad Lamachteret. It is the base of the area used by the Haganah in 1947, leading to the establishment of the state in 1948. Now, when we hear stories about the Haganah, the bravery of the soldiers, the fighters from the Haganah, the Etzel and Lelechi, we think about some strong, large, well-established army. And I think at times we don't quite understand how challenging it was for them. Here is their base. Think of the army bases that Israel has today. If you visited the Kiryah, if you visited Ramat Gan, the Galil, the Negev, look at all these huge army bases. There it is. That's the army base of the Haganah for the Sharon area. Isn't that just extraordinary? They were using this base to defend the area, and here is the few square meters they had where they were able to hide in. You can see the slots and the windows there. And this building was kept. So we could look, we could learn, and we could also understand and appreciate what perseverance can achieve, what dedication can achieve, and also to remember all those heroes who were here to establish this beautiful place called Kfar Mas, where children are playing here in the park and people are enjoying life. And right in the center of Kfar Mas, you can see the Yad Lamachteret, the base of the Haganah. You can see the tank from the Six-Day War. You can see all the names of the soldiers who gave their lives from Kfar Mas to establish the state of Israel, to maintain and sustain the people of Israel. And I think that this connection of old and new, and being able to bring in Shabbat from this beautiful, special place with a bit of music in the background and children playing, is a true gift of itself. Now, one last thing I want to tell you, because I'm not sure you can hear the music. I wasn't planning to turn my camera in this direction, but just behind me is a big swimming pool. Okay, that's just over there. You can see the basketball court and the swimming pool. And I was thinking that I'm not going to mention the swimming pool because what relevance would it possibly have? And up to about 10 minutes ago, when I just started this broadcast, the swimming pool was playing some English songs. I heard Queen, and I heard some other modern music, not that I was all familiar with it. But what they're now playing are Shabbat songs in the swimming pool. So I think that's very special in itself. They're now playing Shalom Aleichem while the children are playing in the pool. I think that says a lot in itself. So let's start with our Kabbalat Shabbat from here from Kfar Mas. And let's do it! Let's be doers! Let's persevere. We all have our challenges. We'll have so many things that we want to achieve in life, so many things that we want to overcome, so many challenges we need to overcome. Let's take the inspiration from Natan Yonatan, from the Chalutzim of Kfar Mas, from the soldiers in 1967, from Eitan who fought in this tank and defended his friends, from the people of the Haganah who were fighting from this ridiculously small base to defend the area. And let's overcome our challenges. Let's gain strength from them. And let's bring in Shabbat with tremendous enthusiasm, together with the children here in the pool, singing Shalom Aleichem as they play in the water. Shabbat Shalom to you all. Let's start with Lechun Eranana. Today I'll be using the tribe Siddur. This special tribe Siddur is an edition which I also use in my school, as you can see. And the page we're starting on for Lechun Eranana is page 405. I will mention just before we start that the bringing in Shabbat is a little bit early for the UK, but we'll still have an enthusiastic Kabbalat Shabbat together. But the earliest time to light candles in London is 6:45. little bit later if you are in Manchester or up north, maybe 10 to 7 or so. That's the earliest time. And Shabbat comes in at 8 o'clock. And then goes out, terminates at 9:04. So we'll have a beautiful Kabbalat Shabbat here together, but when you're lighting your candles, give it another couple of hours and wait for around 7 o'clock so you can do so at the correct time. Lichun Ranana, page 405, live from Kfar Mas, with the tank right behind me. That gives us tremendous strength and chizuk. Lichun Ranana, Ladonai, Naria, Litzurishenu. Shabbat Shalom from Wales. Nekadma Panav Betoda Bizemirot Narialo. Shabbat Shalom from Potter's Bar and from Chigwell. Kiel Gadol Adonai Umelach Gadol Al Kol Elohim Asher Biado Machkere Haaretz תועפות הרים לו, אשר לא הים בו עשו יבשת עליו וצרו, בו ישתחווה ונבחר לפני אדוני עשינו, כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו עם המרעיתו וצאן ידו, היום אם בקולו תשמעו, אל תקשו לבבכם גמרי והכיום עשה במדבר, אשר ניסוני אבותיכם, בחנוני גמרו פועלי, 40 שנה, אקוט בדו, ויאמר, Ante levavim vehem liyad dirachai asher nishbati ve'api im yavun el menuchati. Shabbat Shalom, Newcastle upon Tyne. Shabbat Shalom, Lincolnshire. And if I missed anyone out, please forgive me. Yes, Leeds. Shabbat Shalom, Leeds. I've got a special connection to Leeds. Went to university there. So Shabbat Shalom to everyone in Leeds. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shir Ladonai, Barech Shemo, Masru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sapru v'goyim kevodo b'chol ha'amim niflehotav ki gadol Adonai umehulal me'od norahu al kol Elohim ki kol העמים מלילים ואדוני שמיים עשה הוד והדר לפניו וצמחת רבים מקדשו הבו לאדוני משפחות עמים הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו 20 מנחה ובכל חצרותיו תשתחוו לאדוני ברצת קודש חילו מפניו כל הארץ אמרו בגויים אדוני מלאך אף תיקון תבל בל תימות ענדים עמים במישרים ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הימם לו יעלוס עלי בכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל ארצייר לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק וימים באמונתו. שבת שלום ניוקאסל, שבת שלום ניוברי פארק, אדוני מלאך תגל הארץ ישמחו עם רבים. שבת שלום מילטון קינס. הנעל בערפל סביבה צדק ומשפט נכון כיסו אש לפניו תלך ותלהט סביב צריו הירו ברקב תבל ראתה ותאכל הארץ הרים כלום נעשו לפני אדוני מלפני אדון כל הארץ הגדה שמיים צדקו בראו כל העמים כבודו יבושו כל עובדי פסל ופתילים באלילים תשתחוו לכל אלוהים שמע ותשמח ציון ותגל למדות יהודה למען משפטיך אדוני כי אתה אדוני לעילוי כל הארץ מאוד נעלית על כל אלוהים. אוהבי אדוני סנורה שומר נפשות חסידיו מיד רשעים יצילם אור זכו על הצדיק לישרי לב שמחה שמחו צדיקים באדוני והוידו לזכר קודשו מזמור שיר לאדוני שיר חדש כלפות עשה הושיע אלוהים מנו זרוע קודשו הודיע אדוני ישועתו לעיני גויים גילה צדקתו זכר חסדו ואמתו בבית ישראל הוא כוח עשיית יצירת אלוהינו, הרגו לאדוני כל הארץ פצחו ועלנו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בחינו ובחינו בכל זמרה, בחצוצרות כל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, יהי רם וירום לו, תבל ביושביבה, נערות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קיבה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים. Shabbat Shalom Toronto. What a lovely surprise there. Page 413. Adonai Malach ירגזו העמים, יושב קרובים תנות הארץ, אדוני בציון גדול ורמו על כל העמים, יודו שמך גדול ונורא קדוש הוא, ועוז מלך משפט אהב, אתה כונד המישרים משפט וצדקה ביעקב אתה עשית, רובים מונה לי נמשך ולאדום רגליו קדוש הוא. משה ואהרון בכהניו, שמואל וקורא שמו, קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענם, ביעמוד ענן ידבר עליהם, שמרו עדותיו וחוק נתן למו, אדוני אלוהינו אתה ניתם, אל עושה היית להם ונקם על עלילתם, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קדשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודשי, כל אדוני על המים אל הכבוד ירים, אדוני על מים רבים, כל אדוני בהכוח, כל אדוני בהדר איי, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל, ונון וסריון כמו בן רהמים, איי כל אדוני חצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר איי, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יחולל איילות, ויחשוף יערות ויחלו כולו מרכבות, אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני אז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, יא ניי 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 ניי, יא ניי 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 ניי, יא 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 ניי, יא ניי 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 ניי, יא יא ניי ניי ניי. Good Shabbos to everyone. Ay ay na 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 ay na 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 na. The last verse of this beautiful perek from Tehillim, it is perek 29, reads the following: Hashem will give strength to his people. Hashem will bless his people with peace. And reading these beautiful words, standing just behind the tank of Eitan, who defended his friends in the Six-Day War, and in his honor, the tank was brought to Kfar Mas, back to his home. I thought about the strength that Eitan had during the Six-Day War, how we have all benefited, having the ability to visit Israel, to live in Israel, to tune in to Israeli culture, to Israeli society, to the values of Eretz Israel and Medinat Israel. And his strength ultimately leads to the people having peace. We have seen so many wars. May we sing this Lecha Dodi with a prayer and blessing of peace for Medinat Israel and for the whole wide world. Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Lekrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela na na nai 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 shamo mezacho bedibur echadish mianu nela meyuchad Adonai echad ushma echad leShem ultiferet velitila lechad oidi Lekrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Yai Lekrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelchami Mekar HaBeracha Meroish Mikedem Nesuch HaSof Maseh B'machshava Techila Lecha Doidi Lekrat Kala Penei Shabbat Eine Kabela Hai Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha Kumitzahi Mitocha Hafeicha Rablach Shevet Beyemek Habacha Behu Yachamol Alayichem La Lecha Doidi Lekrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Ay 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 his nari meyafaku milipshi bigedi tifartecha mi al yad benishai beit alach mikava el nafshi ge'ala lecha doidi lekrat kala penei Shabbat Nekabela ay 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 hitayri kiva oirech kumi ori shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla lecha doidi lekrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. We changed the tune here for Lot of Roshi, meaning we shall not be ashamed, we shall not be confused. These people that established Kfar Mas, they were not ashamed, they were not confused, they were determined. They knew exactly what they wanted to achieve. And look at the beautiful place that they have built. Let's educate ourselves, let's educate our children, not to be ashamed of our Judaism, to be determined, to aspire to achieve higher levels, this Rosh Hashanah, this Yom Kippur, to tune in to the values that matter, to the family values of Torah, to the values of Shabbat Kodesh, as we sing, Lo tevoshi velo tikalmi, ma tishtachachi umatemi. Thank you, Eva. Ma tishtachachi umatemi, ma yechesu ani yami. Hay venivneta hiralti la, na 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 lecha daidi. Ay 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 lekat kala, ay 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 penei Shabbat. Ay 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 nekabela ve hayelim shisa shay sayich ay verachak kal mevalayich yasis alayich el hayich ay benis mergam ses chasan al kahala ay 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 lecha daiti ay 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 lekat kala ay 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 penei Shabbat ay 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 nekabela. Yamin Ismail, turn to the right, turn to the left. To the right is Eitan's tank. To the left is the base of the Haganah from 1947 to 1947 to 1967 to 2022. We continue to persevere. We continue to live a Jewish life. We continue to connect to the people and land of Israel. Yamin Ismail Tefraitzi Ve'etadai Taharitzi Al Yahadish Ben Parti Ay Venisbecha Venagila Naina Lecha Daidi Ay 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 Likat Kala Ay 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 Penei Shabbat Ay 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 Nekabela. Now let's turn round and welcome Shabbos. Ibai beshalom materet bala gam besimcha v'tzahala toichemunei am segula b'hichala b'hichala ay 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 lecha daidi na 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 likrat kala ay 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 penei Shabbat ay 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 nekabela na 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 lecha daidi ay 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 likrat kala ay 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 penei Shabbat ay 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 nekabela. Page 427. Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, leyom haShabbat. Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, leyom haShabbat. Everybody singing, sing a song of Shabbos. Everybody singing, sing a song of Shabbos. Mizmor shir, shir leyom haShabbat. Mizmor shir, sing a song of Shabbos. טוב להודות אדוני זה אנשים חיילים להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות על הסוף עלי נבל על היגון מכינו כי שמחתני אדוני מפועלך מעשה ידיך ארנן מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מעולם כל מחשבותיך ישבר לידך סילי אביהי נצות בפרוח ישן כמו עשב והציצו כל פועלי אבן לישם דמה דיד ואתה מרום לעולם אדוני כי נאבך אדוני כי נאבך יבדו יתפרדו כל פועלי אבן ותרים קראים קרני בלותי בשן רעננת בלתני בשירי בקמים על המרים תשמענה אוזני צדיק אתה המר יפרח כירז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני היצורי ולא עוולה תבוא עד Adonai malach yud lavesh lavesh Adonai tizlav tikon tevel baltimot nachon ki sacha me'az molam ata nasu ne'arot Adonai nasu ne'arot kolam yisu ne'arot doch yam mikolot mayim rabim adirim ishberei yam adir b'marom Adonai edatecha nemnu meyad lebeitcha navakodesh Adonai le'yodech yamim nai 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 yana na 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 nai yana nai nai nai. Good Shabbos to everyone. Yana nai na 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 nai 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 na 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 nai nai. Shabbat shalom to you all. It's now 7 p.m. in Israel, 5 p.m. in London, so Shabbat is beginning. I wish you all from here, Kfar Mas, the village of doers, may we all do the same, persevere, overcome, and remember that no challenge is too great for us, the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and goodbye.